Okay, so here we go, guys. Let me get started. All right, so what we're doing today is we're just going over, okay, what we're doing today, oops, second, escape, okay, I don't know why it does that. Gosh, why is it doing this? Sorry. Okay, there we go. Slideshow, escape. Okay, give me 1 second. My display's acting a little weird. Why is it doing this? System preferences, displays, and arrangement, mirror displays. There we go. Okay. So play from start. Slideshow, escape. This is killing me. Why isn't it allowing me? Okay, so I'm gonna just have to do it this way, I guess. All right, so what we're working on right now is we're working on what we call swaps and sorts, okay? So here we go. Now, can you guys see the second screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't want it to be with notes. I just want it to be the standard slideshow. Show. Play from start. Okay. So, all right. I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with it this way. Okay. So it is what it is. All right. So in Java, what we have to do is we have to know certain sorts and certain searches. Okay. So we aren't going to go over the searches yet. Okay. So what we're going to start off today with is we're going to start off with, okay, sorts. Okay. Now, searches are easy. We'll go over those. They're not that hard to do. Okay. But sorting. Okay. Now sorting is as we know. Okay. Now we have what's called, so when we're doing sorting an array, is there a shortcut for ascending order sorting? Yes. What is it? What is it?
Arrays.sort.
Bingo. It's arrays.sort. Okay. And do we have a shortcut for array list depending on what the value is or what's in the constructor? What is that?
Collections.sort.
Collections.sort. Very good. Now, even though they do that for us, we still kind of have to know the algorithms, or not necessarily the algorithms, but the manner in which things are being sorted. Okay. So there's many different types of algorithms. Okay. So Wikipedia lists over 40. Okay. There's only 3 that we need to know: the selection sort. Okay. The insertion sort and the merge sort. Don't worry about the merge sort. Okay. The merge sort is it's usually the hardest of all the sorts. Okay. It's usually the hardest of all the sorts, but it's the easiest one to identify. Okay. So let's go with selection sort first. Okay. So what a selection sort basically does is, let's say I have 5 numbers, and let's say that 3 is here and 1 is here. What it does is it does a series of swaps. So what it does is it will swap the 3 to here and the 1 to here. Now let's say that the next number is, 0. Technically 0's the smallest number. Why didn't it put it there? That's not how the selection sort works. Okay. So let's take a look at this initial array. Okay. Now, whenever you're sorting through an array, you're going to have maybe half of these numbers. Okay. You'll have half of them: 22, 18, 12. Now, every time we go through an array, we call it a pass. Okay. And for a selection sort, the largest number of passes that we could do is n-1 if n is the length of the array. So let's take a look at what happens. Okay. What's the smallest number here? Take a look at the array. What is the smallest number here? Nick?
-4.
-4. So in a selection sort, -4 swaps with 22. Okay, that is the first pass. Every pass, only one number is swapped. What is the second smallest number? Benny?
2.
2. So what do you think is going to happen?
It'll swap.
With what?
It'll swap 2 with 18.
Bingo. So on the second pass, 2 gets swapped with 18. Okay. And then what would probably be the next pass?
7 to 12.
7 with 12 until they all get put in order. Okay. That's why even let's just say there's 1 or 2 more left. Technically, you could do 2 more passes, but let's say every one of them was in a perfect way that you had to use the max number of sorts. Because you have the last 2 that were out of order, you don't need, when you put them in order, you don't have to pass through one more time. That's why it will always be n-1 passes, okay? Etc. So 7 and 12, okay? Now let's take a look at the actual algorithm. So what we do is we have a for loop. Notice that the for loop is doing array length -1. Key indicator that we are dealing with a selection sort, okay? We find out the minimum index, which would be 0. So for int j equals 0 plus 1, so basically the one ahead of it, we're always looking at the one ahead of it, okay? J is less than array.length, j plus plus. If array index j, so in this case, it would be 0 or 1 is less than array minimum index 0, then the minimum index is equal to j, okay? So do you guys understand that? Okay, so then we do a swap. Int temp equals array minimum index. Int array minimum index now equals array index I, because we find out where it is. Okay, and then array I equals temp. So basically this is what controls the swap. And you all know you always have a swap when you have how many variables?
3.
3. The insertion sort. Now the insertion sort works a different way, okay? The insertion sort takes each number, it goes each number at a time and plugs them into the right fields. So it will start. So in this case, so let's say, for example, the next one. So it would find 7 and it would put 7 between 12. 68 stays, 91 stays, then it would go 56, okay? There's no real swapping. This is all inserting, but one by one in order. So for example, 64, 54, 58, 87, 55. On our first pass, 54 is less than 64. I insert 54 before 64. This is what my next row of numbers looks like. 54, 64, 58, 87, 55. Okay, 58 is less than 64. So now I have to, but 58 is greater than 54. So I'm doing a comparison. Okay, insert 58 before 64. So I'm making sure that it's less than the number before me, but greater. It's less than the number before me, but when I swap it, I'm greater than the number after or before me as well. Okay, so then 87. Okay, second pass, 87 is greater than 64. So I go on to the next element. That's how it works. Okay, then 55. Is 55 less than 87? Yes, it is. 55, yes. On 64, yes. Less than 58, yes. Greater than 50, is it less than 55? No. So it knows that is where you are going to insert it. So after 3 passes, you have a sorted list. Okay. So public void insertion sort. So you get the size of it. Int current equals list dot remove I. So int index equals I minus 1. So notice that we start at 1. So we generally you have a nested for loop for a selection sort. With an insertion sort, it's 8 times out of 10 a for with a while. Okay, So while index is greater than or equal to 0 and current is less than list.getIndex, index minus minus. Okay. And then, okay, boom, you do your sort. This index minus minus makes sure that while it's going through that we always check the one that we just replaced. Okay, so the insertion sort, okay, note that implementing sort using an array will require manually shifting elements. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what do they mean by that? That if you're doing this with an array, you'll have to, basically, you'll have to do a swap. Okay, but you're not really doing a swap from here to here. You're basically just saying this one just has to go over to here for a second. Okay, I'm just moving this one over. Okay, but generally with an insertion sort, I mean, you can do it with arrays. It's just easier to work with array lists. Okay, so for an array of n elements, the array is sorted after n minus 1 passes. So same thing as a selection sort. You have the possibility of being in a perfect order where it would be the highest amount of sorts would be n minus 1. Now, okay, we don't need to know any of that. The complexity of the algorithm, we're doing that. That's what the search is. You don't have to do any of that. Okay, so the merge sort. The merge sort is a bit different. Okay. Now, again, let me explain to you guys that you will never have to write any of these sorts. Okay. Will you have to write swaps? Yes. But if you ever get something to sort in ascending order, don't you dare write it using arrays.sort or collections.sort. Is that understood? Okay. Now, a merge sort is different. The way that a merge sort works, and we're going to go into it a little bit different, but what it does is it does a divide and conquer. So we have 6 here. So what it does is it divides it into 3 lists or 2 lists, one here and one here. Then it divides those into 2 lists as well, 2, 9, and 5. Okay. Then the reason I brought it down is it then splits them into individual elements. And then when they're in individual elements, then they start comparing each individual element. Using LIFO, because it uses recursion, it then spits everything back in a sorted order. Because the last thing that gets sorted is the thing that is which would be 0 or the closest to 0 or the lowest number. It's what we call a divide and conquer approach. Now, with larger numbers, larger sets of data, this is the best approach. Okay. But when, for example, in class, we won't be wasting our time with this. Okay. We won't be doing any of that. All right. So for tonight, yes, Benny.
So will we need to know anything about this on a quiz or anything?
So for example, going back to this PowerPoint here. So for example, I may give you an array like this, like these numbers. I may ask you how many passes before this is in sorted order. Or I may say, show me what each pass would look like. So for example, let's say I gave you, let's say, for example, in the insertion sort, okay, I asked you to insert these numbers here, right? Okay, Benny? So
Yep.
for example, then the next thing can you still see my second screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So for example, I would say, okay, let's say that how many what would each pass look like? Okay. So with this array, 2, 9, 5, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So 2 is fine. So 2 is already in the right place. So we go to 5. So I would say 2, 3, 3, 9, 5, 7, 8, 10. Okay. Then I would do 2, 3. Oops. Let me make this a little bigger. Sorry. Then I would do 2, 3, 5, 9, 7, 8, 10. Then etc. I don't know why it's making it good. It's doing an autocorrect. So it's stupid. Why is it doing that? Okay, but you guys understand these 2, 3, 4. It looks like PowerPoint's just auto numbering them. Okay. Can I remove the format? Whatever, I'm not gonna. Okay, whatever. Okay, so the key thing is that's what I'm talking about, Benny, is like, I would ask you to show me what each pass would look like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, is anybody confused on that? Ashton,
If you have an odd number of
can't hear you, Ashton.
You can hear me?
Hello,
You can hear me?
we can't hear you, Ashton. Kennedy, you're up.
Where did
Kennedy,
someone-
can't hear you.
anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Back.
I think he doesn't have
It's
audio.
not me.
I
Hold
think
on.
it's
But I just heard Benny, so there's definitely not me.
Mr. Martin.
Uh,
Yeah, no, he can't hear us.
Yeah, you can't hear us.
try it again.
Hello, hello.
You guys can hear everyone?
Hello,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
hello, yes.
Okay, Kennedy, try it again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't. I'm not hearing anything. Benny, talk again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Benny,
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I
okay.
guess Benny's not working.
I
either.
can't hear anyone. Darn it. Ah! Okay, type your questions into the chat if you can. Make sure they go to everyone so that everyone can see it. Okay. If you have an odd number of elements in the merge sort, how is it split? So just like I showed you, the one on the right will be 2 and then it'll be 1. So your book has a good explanation of it. Okay. Jeopardy music. Okay. Kennedy, what's your question? From the problem you were just showing, where did the 3 come from? Because it was, because I think what happened is it's because I got screwed up by the auto format of the PowerPoint. Okay, notice how there's now a 4 and there was no 4 in the original list. Okay, so I think it's just because it's just auto formatting it. Okay, so sorry about that. All right, okay, so does anybody have any questions? Okay, tonight you're not gonna have any homework, okay? I don't want you guys to, all I want you guys to do is literally just read your book, okay? On the, I will put this PowerPoint on Portal if it'll help, okay? Now, this is, I want you guys to read the chapter in the book as well. There's not gonna be a quiz on this. You will have a worksheet tomorrow for selection and insertion sort that you guys will be working on specifically to make sure that the passes are correct. Okay, and I'll be putting you guys in groups. So you'll want to make sure that you have like a pencil and a piece of paper because you'll see it on the screen, but then you'll actually be writing your passes down on the piece of paper. Okay, and again, this isn't too difficult insertion and selection. Okay, I also wanted to touch base with you guys regarding the AP. Okay, it is going to be Tuesday. It's going to be 17 questions, 40 minutes. It is not going to be graded. Okay. In terms of like, it's not going to go into your grade book. So more than likely you will get the Pro Profs report back. Okay. And from there, what I can do is I would be able to tell you what I think you'd probably get on the exam, at least on the multiple choice portion. The key thing you have to keep in mind is remember, okay, that the multiple choice, the national average for the last 2 years has been 19.5. So if you get above, let's say you get above a 10, you're in good shape. Let's say you get above a 15, you got nothing to out of 40. Okay. Now, not a bragging thing or anything like that, but it's just more just to give you guys peace of mind. 19.5 is a national average. My class average is 27.5. Okay. The national average out of 36 for the free response is 20. My average is 30. Okay. So at least for the last 2 years, I had some really good classes the last 2 years. All right. But again, the key thing, I don't want you guys to panic. I don't even want you guys studying Tuesday night. Okay. This is not graded. I want you guys to just go into this relaxed, just so you have an idea of the type of questions that you're going to get. These are questions you have never seen. Okay. How would you compare your questions to AP questions for APMC? When I was down at La Jolla Country Day, of what I heard is when they got through about 10 or 11 of them, they were literally looking around and just laughing. So, because they were just like, really, this is it. And I had a 90, I would say 99%, 20 out of 21 passed. One kid got the presidential scholarship into Stanford, doesn't have to take Java. So they brought a pillow and went to sleep. Okay. Nothing I could do. I felt bad because that person would have probably aced the exam. They were my best student, but it kind of, how do you compete with that? You get into Stanford, you go up and visit, and they say, even if you get a perfect score, you still have to take our intro to Java class. So they kind of just took all the wind out of our sails. So, okay. But that being said, so please don't do that. Please don't bring a pillow and just go to sleep. So, again, don't study Monday. Just go into it relaxed. What we'll do is, can you scroll up from my question? Sorry, Benny, I might not have seen it. Jeopardy music. That's all I see, Benny. Oh, could we get extra credit if we get 16 out of 17? In the second semester, I honestly don't believe in extra credit. I believe in earned bonuses. I'll be nice, and it's recorded. You get 17 out of 17. You get 17 out. No, Kennedy, stop. This could happen. If you get 17 out of 17, you can take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and any assignments that we have or quizzes, you will automatically get 100% on. It is recorded. That is my deal. It is going online. Okay. It's funny how everybody got really excited. I see Isis in the corner. She's just like, F. She's like, guys, Marty, I'll see you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have some confidence in yourself, Isis. Okay, but that is my deal. Anyone who gets 17 out of 17, you could take the week off. It's never happened, but you could take the week off. Okay. I mean, I've had the brilliance out of brilliance, and they always miss one. Okay. All right. So, and again, what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 minutes or 2.15 minutes per question. Okay. So that's our 2 minutes and 15 seconds per question. So 2 minutes, 15 seconds times 37 gives us roughly about 40 to 41 minutes roughly. Okay. All right. It's the same amount of time. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to just, same amount of, let me see, same amount of time like on the exam, slightly more. Exactly. Okay. So that's what and that's what I need you guys to get into. That's why I don't want you guys to study. It's not that I want you guys to not do well, but this is a perfect scenario to see, okay, where am I? If I don't study at all with the knowledge that I have, and if I slow down, where am I? Okay, let me see. Do you have any info about the AP exam format week for this class? So, I mean, the only thing I don't know. Of what I've heard is they are offering an in-person and an online version of the class. There's still going to be 40 questions and 4 free response questions. The only thing I've heard is that they really have decreased the difficulty of the exam. Okay, that is the only thing I have heard. All right. Okay, I feel like that's answered everybody's questions. I'm gonna get this recording online. Ben, sure. Okay. I will talk to you guys later. Benny, I'm gonna leave and exit my Zoom and then just come back to a new class afterwards. Okay. All right, bye guys.